We're taught to be polite, to smile, apologize, compliment, nod. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the politest behaviors are quietly the most offensive. Not because you meant harm, of course not, but because they send the wrong message. Insincerity, superiority, distance. And the worst part? Most people have no idea they're doing it. Today, we're uncovering 7 habits that seem polite, but quietly offend the very people you're trying to respect. Number 1. Saying, "No problem," instead of "You're welcome." Picture this. Your screen freezes, your file vanishes, and you call in IT like it's an emergency rescue. He fixes it in 30 seconds flat, barely looking up. You thank him, and he shrugs. No problem. Charming, right? Except, what exactly was supposed to be the problem? This casual phrase is everywhere now, especially in customer service, and yet it quietly implies that helping someone could have been an inconvenience, but you chose to tolerate it. Now, I'm not saying you need to curtsy and whisper, "Your grace," every time someone thanks you, but a simple, "You're welcome," or even "My pleasure," goes a lot further in making someone feel graciously received, not reluctantly tolerated, because real elegance doesn't need to remind people that they were potentially a burden. Number 2, giving a compliment that's secretly a comparison. "You look amazing, unlike everyone else here. I love that you actually dress up." Most people don't even try anymore. It sounds like flattery until you realize someone else had to be insulted for you to be praised. Backhanded compliments like this are everywhere, especially from people trying to sound supportive while casually passing judgment. I still remember attending a small wedding once. Really relaxed, lovely couple followed by a garden party. I wore a simple blue dress and low heels. Nothing dramatic. Later, looking at the photos, my mom said, "You were the only one dressed for the wedding." Now, I know that's just classic mom behavior, being proud even when it comes out sideways. But still, imagine someone else hearing that. It turns a nice moment into a subtle put-down for everyone else. And that's the problem. Real compliments don't need a supporting insult. Just say, "You looked beautiful," or "You nailed it," and leave it there. Because if your praise comes at someone else's expense, it's not elegance. It's gossip in a silk dress. Number 3. Offering help that comes with a performance. Helping someone isn't impolite. Announcing it like you're about to win an award for it is. You've seen it. Someone struggling slightly, and another person swoops in, arms out like they're about to rescue a kitten from a tree. "Here, let me help you with that." It's not the offer that's the problem. It's the unspoken message. "You clearly can't manage, so I'll take over from here." I've had it happen when I was perfectly fine. Hands full, yes, but still in control. Sometimes all you need is someone to hold the door, not reach for your bags like you're about to faint in a Jane Austen novel. Classy people do help, but they don't make a scene out of it. They ask, "Would you like a hand?" They notice without assuming. And if the answer is no, they simply step aside, because elegant help doesn't announce itself. It arrives quietly, and only if it's actually needed. Number 4, praising the person instead of the action. "You're so clever. You're really talented. You're amazing at this." Harmless, right? But sometimes it feels less like a compliment, and more like you're being graded by someone who didn't quite pass the class themselves. I've been told I'm so good at this, in that tone that says, "Wow, you did a grown-up thing all by yourself." And I can't help thinking, based on what expertise exactly? The issue isn't praise. It's labels. It's that odd mix of admiration and low-key condescension, like being handed a gold sticker by someone who's never seen the syllabus. Telling someone they are something puts you in the role of evaluator. It shifts the dynamic. Suddenly, you're the authority, and they're being assessed. Even if it's meant kindly, it can feel like a pat on the head instead of real recognition. Elegant praise is specific, observant, grounded. It says, "The way you explained that was so clear," not, "You're just so smart." Because if you're complimenting someone like you're handing out trophies at a kindergarten talent show, they'll hear it, and they won't forget who was holding the glitter glue. Number 5, touching someone casually to be friendly, a light hand on the back, a playful nudge, a quick arm grab mid-laugh. Some people treat casual touch like it's a personality trait. They mean well. They think it makes them seem warm, approachable, human. But here's the catch. Not everyone enjoys being touched, especially by someone they barely know. And in new or professional settings, it can feel less like friendliness and more like a subtle invasion. I tend to stand back, personally, always have. So when someone reaches out to connect, I notice immediately. It's not a crisis, but it's not welcome either. And for a lot of people, it quietly shifts how they see you. Class doesn't assume familiarity. It watches. It reads the room. And if there's any doubt, it doesn't reach for the arm. Because physical warmth doesn't equal social warmth. Sometimes the most respectful gesture is no gesture at all. Number 6. Handing someone a tissue before they ask. It seems thoughtful, caring, gentle, but it can also feel like a spotlight. You're offering comfort, but what the other person receives is, you're falling apart. And I've noticed. I remember attending a funeral once. Someone I knew, but not well. I was there to show respect, to stay composed. And then, across the aisle, someone handed me a tissue. I hadn't cried. I hadn't even shifted in my seat. But just like that, I felt exposed, like someone had decided I was no longer managing, and now everyone else might think so too. The instinct was kind, of course, but the timing turned it into something else. And it's not just funerals. It can happen during a wedding ceremony, a speech, a toast, any moment when someone is trying to stay composed in public. Jumping in too early shifts the spotlight onto their emotion, instead of letting them hold it with dignity. The elegant thing? Wait, watch. If they reach for their bag or glance around, then offer, quietly. Or better yet, just place it within reach and say nothing. True grace lets people have their moment, on their own terms. It doesn't jump in before the first tear falls. Number 7. Hovering while someone finishes a task. You're trying to be polite, not interrupt, not rush, just wait quietly. But standing there in silence while someone fills out a form, sends a message, or finishes their set at the gym, it doesn't feel respectful. It feels like surveillance. I actually stopped going to a gym because of this. The trainer would just stand there, arms folded, watching me struggle through lunges. And yes, I know I paid him for that, but still, it wasn't encouraging. It was awkward. And it's not just gyms. It's the colleague who stands over your shoulder while you pull up a file, the shop assistant who hovers while you try to remember what size you wear, the friend who watches you send a text like it's a trust fall exercise. When someone's mid-task, what they usually need is space, not supervision. Sometimes the elegant thing is to step aside and say, "Take your time, I'll be right over here." Or better yet, don't say anything. Just move, because what feels like attentiveness to you might feel like pressure to them. And real class never lingers where it's not needed. So, where does this leave us? Politeness isn't just about following social scripts. It's about being intentional, present, sincere. Because real elegance isn't performative. It's perceptive. It knows when to hold the door and when to step back, when to compliment, and when to just smile. And above all, it knows that sometimes the nicest thing you can do is not pretend at all. Now tell me, have you ever realized you were doing one of these without knowing? Or has someone done one to you and you only caught it later? Let's talk about it in the comments. And while you're here, please like the video and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. As always, stay classy. Manners matters.